Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving straight into some pretty significant recent statements from West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee.
Yes, specifically concerning the BJP and the WAQF law.
Exactly. Our source is a report from the Times of India, which really details her strong criticisms. So our goal for this deep dive is to, really understand the core of these accusations. What's the context?
And what does it all tell us, or you listening, about the current political currents in India?
Right, so what jumps out first?
Well, I think it's the directness of her claims. The central point she's making, according to this report, it revolves around how the new WAQF law was passed.
She called it a trick, didn't she?
She did! A trick by the BJP government.
Okay, let's unpack that alleged trick a bit. The article lays out her argument that any changes to the WAQF Act, that's the law about religious endowments, she believes it should have required a full constitutional amendment.
Which means needing a two-thirds majority in Parliament. A high bar.
Exactly. But she argues the central government pushed it through with just a simple majority.
So her core point, for listeners, is about the level of parliamentary agreement needed. She's saying this wasn't just some minor law change.
She sees it as needing that broader consensus reflected in a constitutional amendment.
And that brings up, a really important point about legislative procedures. Certain laws, especially ones seen as maybe altering fundamental structures,
Or principles.
right? Principles of the country, they often do require that higher threshold, that constitutional amendment. It's meant to show, widespread agreement.
So her argument is basically that the WAQF Act falls into that category.
That seems to be her position, yes.
And her criticism, it doesn't stop just with the BJP itself, does it?
No, not at all. The report highlights some pretty pointed remarks about key NDA allies.
Specifically.
Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and Andhra Pradesh CM Chandrababu Naidu.
Right, and her criticism is about their silence on this WAQF issue.
Exactly. She suggests quite directly that their silence is, driven by their pursuit of power from the BJP.
So basically accusing them of putting political ambition ahead of maybe legislative concerns.
That's certainly the implication. It's a clear accusation.
Politically, what's the play there?
Well, you could see it as an attempt to perhaps highlight potential cracks within the ruling coalition.
Or maybe push those allies to rethink their position.
Possibly. It definitely puts them in the spotlight on this issue.
Okay, then moving on, there's another major element here. She accuses the BJP of trying to polarize Bengal.
Yes, with the specific aim, she claims, of removing her government.
This isn't exactly a new theme from her, is it?
No, it's fairly consistent with her previous rhetoric. It points to this belief that the BJP is intentionally stoking divisions in the state.
For electoral gain.
That's the charge. The idea of political polarization, it's complex, of course, but it often involves sharpening those divides, creating us versus them narratives. And she's framing it here as a deliberate tactic aimed right at her administration.
And following on from that, the article mentions a very specific and quite a strong claim.
Which one is that?
That in Delhi, which is BJP governed, the sale of fish and meat has supposedly been prohibited.
Prohibited where?
Specifically in areas where Bengali people are concentrated.
Wow. Okay. That's quite an accusation.
Yeah, and the report says this comes directly from her, relayed via the news agency ANI.
It's crucial then to note that this is her assertion, as reported.
Right.
Whether such a prohibition actually exists or its scope, that would need, independent checking.
Of course. But making the claim itself paints a pretty vivid picture, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It paints a picture of what she believes are the tangible consequences of BJP rule for certain communities.
Okay, now here's where things broaden out a bit. She links this WAQF law issue
To the UCC.
Yes, to the Uniform Civil Code. She states her belief that the BJP intends to bring in the UCC and then adds that the party is, quote, against Muslims.
So connecting a specific law to a much bigger and arguably more contentious ideological project.
Exactly. And just for context, the UCC is that idea of having one set of personal laws for everyone: marriage, divorce, inheritance.
Regardless of religion. Yeah. It's been debated in India for decades.
So by linking WAQF to UCC and alleging this anti-Muslim stance, she's really raising the stakes.
Significantly, yes. She's tapping into those broader, long-standing discussions about religious freedom, minority rights, secularism, the whole package.
And then she adds another layer, which she presents as a contradiction.
Ah, the international angle.
Yes. She points to reports, she says,
Hmm.
of BJP leaders meeting with Muslims in Saudi Arabia or accepting hospitality in Dubai, the UAE,
Okay.
and contrasts that with what she claims is their stance within India.
Right. Highlighting what you see as an inconsistency, it's a common political tactic, isn't it? By pointing to these international meetings, she's essentially questioning the sincerity or consistency of the BJP's domestic approach,
Yeah.
challenging their credibility on this front.
Makes sense. Finally, the article notes her appeal to the NDA bloc.
The opposition coalition.
Yeah, urging them to stick together,
Yep.
fight together on these issues.
Mhm.
She frames it like the WAQF law, the alleged polarization. These aren't just isolated issues.
She's suggesting they could affect everyone, basically, that it's a wider concern.
That seems to be the message.
And that call for unity, it suggests she sees these specific points, WAF, polarization, UCC, as potential rallying cries.
Maybe catalysts to galvanize a broader opposition.
That would seem to be the strategic hope, yes. Mobilizing resistance against the BJP and its policies.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all together. The core accusations from Mamata Banerjee, as reported by the Times of India, seem to be: 1. The process for passing the WAQF law was flawed, a trick.
Right. 2. Key NDA allies were silent when they perhaps shouldn't have been.
3. A claim the BJP is deliberately trying to polarize West Bengal to oust her government.
4. That specific, quite stark claim about fish and meat sales being banned in Bengali areas of Delhi.
5. The assertion that the BJP plans to bring the UCC and is generally against Muslims.
And 6. Pointing out a perceived hypocrisy between the BJP's international engagement and its domestic stance.
That covers the main points, I think.
Pretty much. And it's really vital, I think, for anyone listening to remember we're discussing these claims as they were reported, attributed directly to her.
And the language is strong. Very accusatory.
Definitely. It reflects a clear, forceful political stance. No ambiguity there.
The timing, too, it feels significant, given the current political climate.
Absolutely. Remarks like these feed directly into ongoing debates, and they could certainly shape future political moves, alliances, that sort of thing.
And thinking about why she might be saying these things now.
Well, as the article might hint, there could be multiple motivations, couldn't there? Consolidating her base in West Bengal, certainly.
Countering what she sees as growing BJP influence there.
That too. And perhaps trying to mobilize that broader opposition we mentioned, using issues that resonate with minority groups or raise questions about how laws are made and how states relate to the center.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've looked at these recent, quite significant allegations from Mamata Banerjee against the BJP.
Focusing on the WAQF law, but also her wider criticisms about polarization, the UCC, alleged bias, all based on that Times of India report.
And we noted her call for opposition unity as well.
And just to reiterate, this has been an exploration of one perspective, her perspective as presented in that news source.
Absolutely crucial. A full picture would obviously need the BJP's response, other analyses of the WAQF Act itself.
Different viewpoints on all these complex issues.
Which brings us, I suppose, to a final thought for you, the listener. How do these kinds of very strong accusations and the inevitable counter-accusations, how do they shape the bigger political conversation in India?
Yeah, how do they affect our understanding of, say, how laws get made? Or the dynamics of social and political polarization?
It's definitely something to think about. We'd encourage you to, maybe look deeper into the WAQF Amendment Act itself, seek out those diverse perspectives.
And critically assess the narratives coming from all sides.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank you.